that things just disappear. I like that. It's like the rain is hugging me. Her voice sounds different from usual, more gentle now and soft. I wonder if it's because of the rain, or because of the mood the rain brought upon the quiet artist girl. I feel that mood in myself too, enhanced by her words. Yeah, I like rainy weather too. It's nice every once in a while. I wonder what it is about the rain. Everything. I sometimes follow the statement as it allows for no continuation. I decided to push the direction of the conversation a little. But if you like the feeling of being connected, what's the problem with showing your paintings to others? Don't you want to be connected to other people? It's not the same thing. You're comparing apples and squids. I brought up the subject Rin wants to avoid, and it shuts her down again. The question stays hanging between us for the rest of the trip back to the school. I can't help wondering what on earth I could have said to truly reach Rin. Doesn't she feel like she's lacking an identity? She has a strong personality, but if pressed to elaborate, I'm not sure I could describe it accurately. She feels like a person who is who is in constant conflict with herself. I never know what to expect when I talk to her. I wonder how she experiences that disconnect. Fuck me. If Rin is asking herself every day, who am I? And obsessively paints images to define herself day after day, what does she think of that way of living? The irony is that the exact same question I've been asking myself for the past 4 or 5 months. For me, it was miserable. I can only assume that it's a natural state of being for this girl. When we stop in front of the dormitories, Rin turns to face me, as if sensing my thoughts from afar. Her gaze travels emptily past my left shoulder into the shapeless rainfall. Her dark eyes seem to suck the low ambient light into themselves like a reverse mirror. The empty gaze lets nothing out. If I want to understand what's going on behind those eyes, I have to work it out myself. Rin opens her mouth, then closes it without saying anything. Silence lasts for a few more moments before she takes a step towards the dorm building door. See you tomorrow. I haven't heard this tune in forever. The next morning, like every second Monday morning, goddamn. Monday morning until he says otherwise, I have an appointment with the nurse. They allow me to skip part of my first class in the morning. I don't feel any shame in skipping the rest either. Rather than being thankful I get to miss world history, instead I feel dread when I think about these appointments. I wake up at normal time anyway and wash myself in the bathroom. I share with Kenji, tidying with sleep disheveled hair. I quickly get dressed and put my laundry in the basket. I pack up for the school day. I have all my homework done, like usual, so I have a bit of free time now. There's no point in going to the morning class for 20 minutes before I'd have to get to the nurse's office, so I lay down on my bed and read a book until it's time to go. The door to the nurse's office is open, which is unusual. I enter while knocking to announce my arrival. Looking up from his computer screen, he motions for me to take a seat with a friendly hello. Steam wafts up from a piping hot cup of coffee on his desk. It's probably not his first today. How are you feeling on this wonderful morning, Hisao? I'm alright, I think. It was cold yesterday because of the rain, so I woke up feeling a bit groggy. You too, huh? Quite a few kids got caught without umbrellas, so we've been spending time handing out masks and curing sniffles. Alright, today it's test day. Give me your arm. I extend my left arm towards him. Keeping my face expressionless, the nurse ties a rubber tourniquet around my bicep with a practice movement and briskly goes about his business. I don't think anyone really likes getting stuck with needles, but at least I got over my distaste for them. I had to. Now I barely even twitch at the moment of truth. Once that's done, a blood pressure check follows. Then there are checklists and questionnaires to go through. The nurse nods and scribbles in my answers to the questions as I give them. Alright, let's have a listen now. I unbutton my shirt and put it neatly on the back of the chair I was using while he puts on his stethoscope. I know by heart the order of places where he's going to listen to my lungs and heartbeat. I adjust my breathing to be even and deep without even being asked. It's become routine now for both of us. It's funny, this is pretty much the only time in one's life when you really concentrate on breathing and nothing else. It always amused me. The nurse lifts the cold steel stethoscope from my chest and places it a few inches lower. Listening again. The contact of the metal makes me flinch on reflex, even though I was expecting it. He furrows his brow. I can't tell if it's because he's unhappy or if he's trying to pick something specific out among the complex multitude of irregularities in my heartbeat. Is there something wrong? Please don't talk. I shut up and become more anxious. The nurse is nice, but I can't help disliking these mandatory checkups. I wonder if I'm going to end up hating all medical appointments from now on because of these. He finally lifts the circular metal plate from my chest, allowing me to talk again. Everything seems to be fine. Are you feeling alright yourself? I suppose. I was out yesterday when it was raining, and yeah, I really felt a bit under the weather in the morning. Maybe I caught a cold. Were you with Emmy? She came down with a cold too. My people told her to stay in bed for a day or two. Really? I mean, I was with her, but I didn't know she got sick. I guess it was a dumb thing after all for her to go out in the rain like that. Yeah, well, let's put that aside. Everything seems to check out for you, but remember to be careful. Of course, I really don't want to go back to the hospital. He catches something. Maybe repressed terror, I don't know, in my voice, and glances up from some paper he was looking at. Hey, don't worry. At this stage, it would take a huge crash in your condition to get you rehospitalized. It doesn't really reassure me, but grumbling about it to him won't make any difference. I quietly take my leave. Walking along the corridor from the auxiliary building to the main school building, I encounter a young female nurse coming the other way. She smiles at me when we pass each other. The lobby is empty of people. No surprises since classes are still going on. I hear muffled sounds of discussion coming from behind the first floor classroom doors. I glance at my watch. I'd have to rush to get to my classroom in time. I don't feel like going to class anyway, so I decided to climb up to the roof and have an extra long lunch break. Emmy promised she'd bring something for me today, but if she's sick, that's probably not going to happen. I'm not feeling hungry anyway, so it's all the same. I climb up the steep stairwell to the roof. It is oddly liberating, goddamn. Almost like losing weight. I feel satisfaction that it doesn't wind me as badly as it did the first time I came up here. I push open the squeaky door at the top and step into sunlight, and it's gonna be Rin. Skipping class, I bet. The chain link fence always allows for a grand view. Yeah, get better fences, assholes. For a grand view over the treetops, all the way to the gray silhouettes of downtown further away. The dreary weather of yesterday is just a memory now. The silver blue sky seems to be a mere arm's reach away. I forget for a moment that I'm in a bad mood. The warmth of the sun soaks into my bones, making me drowsy and lazy instead. The bells rang for lunch break, startling me back into reality. Soon afterwards, the quad below me bursts into life. Students pour out of the doors down on the ground floor, intent on enjoying lunch at the quad in lush gardens in this perfect weather. When I hear the door to the stairwell being pushed open, I don't bother turning to see who it is. The intruder starts coming towards me with uneven footsteps. The little river stones the roof is covered with rattle and crunch underfoot. The footsteps stop a few feet behind me, followed by a silence. I look upwards into the glowing eye of the sun, absorbing its warmth with my whole body. What are you doing? I turn around out of courtesy at her first words, to behold the slim, awkward figure of Rin Tezuka. She looks very much like herself today, too. Her hair is maybe a tad messier than usual, as if she just got out of bed. She stands with her weight shifted onto one foot, looking at me with mild curiosity, as if I were something in a store's display window. I don't know, just spacing out, I guess. What about you? No, I'm okay. Sorry, I was looking at that. Emmy promised food. We usually eat here. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. I heard Emmy came down with a cold. Oh, I guess that makes sense. She wasn't in class. It's not that common to get a cold in June, though. You don't think she went running at the track afterwards like she said? The rain just kept going. Probably. In the rain? In the rain. Sounds like a bit too much for just keeping up with training regimen. Emmy is hard-headed one, though, so I can see her running in the downpour just because she had to. Well, that's obviously overdoing it. Probably why she came down with that cold, too. Bikes is kind of cool. Speaking of that, I'm not feeling well either. Achoo! Rin sneezes pretty hard, failing to stop it in time. She cranes her head down to wipe her nose with on her shoulder. Deciding that it would be too unladylike, I pull out my handkerchief and hold it to her nose. Here, bless you. Thanks. She clears her nose, and I dab the handkerchief gently on it, wiping it clean. Her nose is really cute. Oddly enough, it's probably the girliest part of Rin's face. I think I'm blushing a little, but Rin doesn't notice. Thanks. I think I might be coming up or down with something too. Down to clown? Maybe down with the sickness? Yeah. Like I was saying, hope not. Rin doesn't seem to be bothered about eating, so despite the lack of any Friday lunch, we stay up on the rooftop. She comes over and stands next to me, right up against the fence, looking into the same abstract distance I am. Nobody else seems to be coming around to intrude upon this calmness either. It's quiet and peaceful. What does one do on a lunch break if not eat? It turns out that, between two of us, we don't really know. Fortunately, passing time is an activity that manages itself just fine. Even though there's no conversation to fill the silence between the passing seconds. No pointless activities like cloud gazing to spend upon the minutes between now and then time marches on relentlessly. I keep checking time on my watch and then decide it's dumb thing to do. Instead, I try to hold out for as long as possible before I check it again. Maybe I can hold out for 6 or 7 minutes. Rin remains silent, idly looking up at the cerulean expanse above us. I wonder why. More often than not, we don't speak much. She said that she doesn't like speaking because of her perceived difficulties with expressing herself properly. As for me, I think I just got sucked into the habit at the hospital where I spent such a long stretch of time never really talking to anyone. Most of the time I feel comfortable about this quiet mood. Even when I get the feeling that I have to break the silence, it's always so difficult to come up with something to talk about when it's with Rin. She and I are on such different wavelengths that nothing seems to be on common ground. What is that you like about the sky so much? She turns to me, her eyes dark and serious. Sky is the only thing that is perfect. I know it. You could say I'm an expert of sky if you want, and I am even if you didn't want to, a sky expert. It's always different, but it's always perfect also when it's different. Yeah. I followed her gaze up in the boundless blue expanse, thinking of her words. Have you ever wanted to be something different? It wouldn't be so bad to be the sky. No, I mean someone else. Someone different. To go to a normal school like everyone else, and not have to worry about stuff. What stuff? I try to find the right words for a moment, but can't manage to form the sentence I'd be comfortable with actually using. Man, I don't really want to say it aloud. Try. I'm just not so good at mind reading. Don't you ever want to not be disabled? She thinks about this, then shakes her head, frowning. That's a hard question. I don't know what to say. It's okay if you don't say anything. Oh God, she looks kind of sad. Really sad. God damn.